This is video number 1 on how to make the happy octopus drawing in Illustrator. In this video, I'll show you how to make the octopus itself. In the second video, I'll show you how to make the background. This is an example of what the finished product may look like. So if you're following along on the handout, I'm on step number 1, in which you open Illustrator and create a new document. I'm going to call this Octopus and put my name on it. And make sure that the orientation is set to horizontal instead of vertical for this project, and double check that the size is set to letter, and then click OK. So on our blank canvas, the first thing that we're going to do is select the ellipse tool, which is grouped together with all of the drawing tools right over here. So click and hold and grab the ellipse tool. And normally we click and drag to make a circle, but this time we're just going to click and we get this ellipse box, and we're going to put in a specific size, which is 2.5 inches. And you'll notice that the default for this is set on points, so you do have to type in IN so that Illustrator knows you want inches and not points. And you can see that Illustrator has converted the inches back to points, so I could just put in 180 points because I know that that's 2.5 inches. And click OK. So I now have a white circle with a black stroke on it. I'm going to change the fill color to a color of my choice, and I am going to open the swatches, and I find this color palette very limited, so I'm going to choose this pop-out menu here on the side, go to Open Swatch Library, Color Books, and one of the palettes that I enjoy is True Match because it has many options. So I'm going to move this over to the side and drag it open, and I think I'm going to make this octopus purple. So I'm going to choose this value right here, and I'm going to take the stroke off, so set that for none. So now I am on number 4. Select the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow, and I'm going to click on the bottom anchor point only. So notice that this one is blue and these anchor points are white. That's what you need, only the bottom selected. And I'm going to click on the bottom and drag this down a little bit so that I have an egg shape for the head instead of a circle. Now it's important that you then switch back to the black arrow so that the whole shape will be selected for the next step. And what I'm going to do is copy this, so edit, copy, and then edit, paste in front. So I actually now have 2 copies of the shape of the head placed right on top of each other. So I'm going to undo that so that they're matched up perfectly again. Now, number 6, I'm going to switch back to the white arrow and click only the bottom of the top egg shape and drag it up a little bit. What that's going to do, once I change the color, is give a little shadow underneath the face of the octopus. So, I'm going to use the selection tool and grab the back face shape and turn it to a darker color. That's a little too dark. Let's see, that's better. Okay, so I now have the shadow under the chin of the octopus. Number 7, I'm going to use the ellipse tool to draw some ovals on the head. And you can make those a lighter color or a darker color. It's up to you, just to give a little pattern to the octopus, and that looks good to me. So I'm going to use the selection tool, the black arrow, and draw a box around all of these objects to select them, and then I'm going to group them together by going to Object Group. The next thing that I'm going to do is start working on the mouth. So I'm on number 9. I'm going to change the color to black and get the ellipse tool and click so I get the ellipse box, and I'm going to type in 1.5 IN, and it looks like that's 108 points. So 108 PT, and click OK. So now I have a 1.5 inch circle. I'm going to scoot that over a little bit with the selection tool. Now, number 10 says draw a rectangle, so about halfway down the circle. That looks pretty good. And use the selection tool to grab both the rectangle, hold down Shift, and then grab the circle so that both of those are selected, and open the Pathfinder panel. Pathfinder is not one of the default panels that's open, so you'll have to go up to Window and go down to Pathfinder to open that up. So in the Pathfinder window, I'm going to select the second button over, which is minus front. And you can see that that basically chopped the circle in half and made it look like a mouth. So I'll move that over here. And now I'm going to create the teeth. So number 12, I'm going to get the ellipse tool, click one time, and put in 0.375 IN on the top, which converts to 27 points, and click OK. So that's one of my teeth. So I'm actually going to get the selection tool, hold down Alt, and drag a copy so that I have 2 circles that I'm going to turn into the teeth. At this point, I'm going to get the magnifying glass and draw a box around this so that they're larger. Now I'm going to overlap the 2 circles so that I have 2 rounded shapes that are going to become the teeth. Okay. So I'm going to select both of these with the selection tool, and then in the Pathfinder panel I'm going to click the Unite button, so that's all one shape. Now I'm going to move these so that they overlap with the mouth, and eventually when I make them white they will look like the teeth. So I want to make sure that these shapes are lined up. So with the teeth selected, I'm going to hold down Shift and click the mouth, and the Align panel, which on my computer is already open. If yours isn't open, go to Window, Align, and you can access it that way. So in the Align panel, I'm going to click the second button over, which is Align Horizontal Centers. And what that did was made sure that the teeth and the mouth, the centers of those, were lined up perfectly. Alright, now it's time to chop off the top part of the teeth, and I'm going to use the Pathfinder panel to do that. So I am on number 16. I'm going to click the mouth shape, and I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, and Edit, Paste in Front. And if you like to use keyboard shortcuts, you can just do Control V and then Control F, and the same thing will happen. So with my second copy of the mouth selected, I'm going to hold down Shift and select the teeth 2. And in the Pathfinder panel, I'm going to click the third button over, which is called Intersect. So the only thing I have left to do is change the color of the teeth to white, and there we go. Moving on to number 18, which is to make the tongue. So with the ellipse tool, I am going to click and put in 0.5 IN, which is 36 points. So I'll change this one to 36, and that's going to be the shape. That will be my tongue. So I'm going to move that down here to the bottom of the mouth. And again, because I want these to be centered, I'm going to hold down Shift and click the shape on top of it, of the mouth. And in the Align panel, I'm going to click the second button over, which is Align the Centers. Oops, looks like I missed the teeth. So let me get the teeth too. And align the centers. Great. And then I'm just going to drag that back to where I had it. Alrighty. So I'm going to use the selection tool to grab the shape of the mouth, make a copy, Control-C, and paste in front, Control-F. Then with the top copy selected, I'm going to hold down Shift and grab the tongue shape. And in the in the Pathfinder panel, I am going to click the third button over, which is called Intersect. So now I have the bottom part of that circle cut off, so it looks like the tongue now. The last thing that I need to do is add a gradient to it. So over here in my swatches panel, I'm going to click the linear gradient, but you'll notice that it's black and white and it's going the wrong direction. So I'm going to need to fix that. To fix that, I'm going to open up the gradient panel and I'm going to pull that off. And I'm going to change the angle of the gradient by 90 degrees so that it's going in the opposite direction. Then I'm going to get to the pinks over here. Oops, open back up. And I'm going to take a light pink and drop it over the top of the white. And then I'm going to take a dark pink and drop it over the black, so we can see what that's done. And I think I'm actually going to reverse this. So I'm dragging the light pink here and the dark pink over here so that it's dark in the front and light as it goes into the back. Alright, and that is finished. So I'm going to click on all of those pieces and I'm going to group them together. The last step for the features is to add the eyes. So now I am on number 24. I'm going to use the ellipse tool and click and make a circle. Again, that's 0.375 IN, which is 27 points. So I'll put 27 down here and click OK. And I'm just going to grab the selection tool and hold down Alt to drag off a copy of that. So now I have my two eyes, and all I need to do now is get the ellipse tool, change the fill to white. Whoops, I needed to deselect that first. So Control-Shift-A. Now I'm going to change the fill to white and hold down Shift while I draw a circle. Hold down Shift while I draw another circle. Now I'm going to click all of those, and now I'm going to hold down Alt and drag off a copy. I'll actually delete this one. So with the eyeballs pieces selected, I'm going to drag those into place where they line up with the outer edge of the mouth, and looks good. So I'm going to draw a box around all of those pieces and group them together. Next, we're going to work on the tentacles. So grab the pen tool, and starting maybe a third of the way down on the face, I'm going to click and drag, click and drag. And right now it's making this weird shape because I have the fill set to black. So I'm going to go ahead and use this arrow here to swap the fill and the stroke. So that's easier for me to look at and not be confused by what's happening there. So on to number 31, I'm going to open the stroke panel, which is right here. And I'm going to change the weight to 15. And I'm going to change the end style to round. So you can see that that added rounded edges instead of straight edges. Now, I'm going to, right now this is a line and I actually want it to be a shape. So I'm going to go to Object, Expand, and leave fill and stroke selected and click OK. So what that's done is it's given it anchor points and turned it into a shape. And now I'm going to go ahead and change it to the same color as the top part of the octopus. I'm on number 33 now. I'm going to use the selection tool to have the tentacle selected. Hold down Alt and drag off a copy and place it maybe halfway down. And I'm going to change the color of that to the darker purple. There we go. Now I'm going to go back and grab the light tentacle and do Control C to make a copy and Control F to place in front. Then I'm going to click that tentacle, hold down Shift, and get the dark purple one in front. Then in the Pathfinder panel, I'm going to click the third button over, which is Intersect. So you can see that it makes it look like there's the top of the tentacle and then the bottom of the tentacle is shaded because it's dark. So I'm going to continue doing this to make 8 legs. So pen tool, click and drag, click and drag, click and drag to make a tentacle shape. So I'm going to go down here and click the switch button so that it has a stroke instead of a fill. Go over to my stroke panel, make it 15, give it a round end cap. Go to Object, Expand, have fill and stroke selected, click OK. I'm going to switch it to the lighter color. With the selection tool, hold down Alt, make a copy, drag it down about halfway, change it to the dark color, grab the original tentacle, Control C to copy, Control F to paste in front, hold down Shift, get the dark tentacle, click the third button over in the Pathfinder panel. And there we go. So I'll keep going until I get all 8 tentacles built on my octopus. And that's it for the octopus. Please watch video number 2 to see how to do the background. And that's it for now.